All right, race fans, welcome to TurnLeftTV. Be ready for some high-speed action tonight. Step on the gas. All right, race fans, welcome to the cornfields of Iowa. This is TurnLeftTV, and I'm your host, Heath Johnson. We've got a doozy for you tonight here at Iowa. 228 laps, race number 2 in that 2020 HORL IndyCar Series season. It's going to be a great one. Short track action in the IndyCars. This is a fun track, man. A lot of room to race here. It's going to get busy in a hurry. Hang on, boys and girls. You can only see it live right here on TurnLeftTV. Well, it's Iowa Speedway tonight. It's going to be a great one, 228 laps. Who's going to take home the victory? Hang out, baby. All right, hey, thank you so much for joining me here on TurnLeftTV. We got a little bit of a great race here for you tonight. A lot of a great race here for you tonight. Right now, these guys are in the practice session. Practice is running a little bit long here, but that's okay. Can always use a little bit of practice. So, looks like 6 minutes left in the practice session. Take a look at the track here at Iowa Speedway. Little less than a mile. Yeah, 0.8 of a mile left. Or, excuse me, hold on 1 second. 0.8 of a mile. Banking in the turns 12 to 14 degrees. Front stretch 10 degrees. Back stretch at 4 degrees. Take a look at the schedule here in the IndyCar series. This is the second race of the season. Next week we have Phoenix, another track here, very similar to Iowa. I mean, it's a little different, but similar in the sense that you can almost use the same setup. Michigan coming up after that on October the 10th. You see Gateway, that's going to be an interesting race on October the 17th. Texas following that on October the 24th. Auto Club Speedway, that's California. Then we got Pocono, Watkins Glen, and Indy finishing out the season at IMS. So switching it over to qualifications, it looks like. Oh, look at that, man. Look at that. Uh-oh. Alexander Meshkov joining us in the chat. He said, didn't know you were racing for with European times or suitable for the European times. And, yeah, we're racing in the daylight. We're racing in the daylight. Those vampires racing in the daylight. I don't know, man. Hopefully nobody's got the silver bullet or the wooden stake or whatever it is. Or the garlic. Is that what it is? So good to see you, Alexander. I was actually watching your stream a little while ago with the IndyCars. Looks like you were using the previous mod, but nonetheless, hey man, you're always welcome to come out and race with us. Open invitation to you. Good to see you, man. Long time no see. Streams are looking awesome, Alexander. You always do a good job at that. So glad you can join us here on TurnLeftTV. Alexander Meshkov, that is some sim racing royalty right there. We'll take a look at the standings coming into tonight. I don't have that lined up very well, do I? There we go. Look at the standings coming into tonight. Ricardo Almeida with that big win last week, 7-point lead over Ed Palumbo. Paul Holt sits in the 3rd position. Tony Reiner 4th. Stephen Miller in the 5th position. See Dennis Vandeven in 6th. Jack Gjordmania. I'll figure it out. Jack G. 12 points back in the 7th position. Colin Mediak 8th. Richard Brooks 9th. And Paulo Chachalowski rounding out the top 10. Looks like Will D join us in. I bet Heath is going to win from the broadcast booth. No, I'm going to win later in the Stock Car Saturday Night Thunder race. That's going to happen. Be there or be square. Speaking of that, we got a great stock car race later on tonight in HORL, and I'm actually going to drive in this race. I don't think I'm going to stream this one. I'm going to just drive it 125 laps from New Hampshire in the 2018 Cup Cars. Should be a great one, and if you're interested in joining, you can see the Discord address there. Join us on Discord, and we'll give you all the information you need to get started and get out on the track with us. Well, who won last week? That was Ricardo Almeida at Las Vegas. Man, we had a wild race, but he was the class of the field and took home the victory there. Ed Palumbo 2nd, Paul Holt 3rd, Tony Reiner 4th. Stephen Miller finished in the 5th position. Las Vegas, very challenging track, man. High speed, tight racing, and got to really, really set up those passes. Coming up next week, oh my gosh, it's home for me. Indianapolis Motor Speedway, 60-lapper there. Race number 6 in the 2020 fall season. We had a caution-free race last night, so we've had a great season, man. I'll tell you, just gives you a really good example of how good the driving is at High Octane Racing League. When we have these races, I think we had 110 laps last night at New Hampshire, and it was caution-free, and what a drama-filled race it was. It was an awesome race, and I'll tell you what, there's no other league like High Octane Racing League when it comes to these stock cars. Race number 6 in the 2020 fall season headed your way next week on October the 2nd, and it'll be live right here on TurnLeftTV. So great racing in these Xfinity cars. Definitely want to join up. You can hook us up or hook up on Discord. We'd love to have you. Preston Hassel joining us in the chat as well. Some more sim racing royalty, High Octane Racing League style. Will and Preston have been members of High Octane Racing League for years and years and years. I think you're looking at somewhere about 16, 17 years. Both those guys have been members of HORL, so a lot of dedication there. Appreciate their support and their dedication, getting this thing off the ground and rolling again. I want to thank you so much for coming in and joining me here on the YouTube channel. Peace to everybody out there. Behave, be happy, find things in life that make you happy, and stick to them and do them often. Again, thank you for coming in. If you haven't hit the subscribe button, I encourage you to do so. You can share my videos with all your friends. Please hit the thumbs up and let me know you were here. Again, you can share my videos with all your friends. Thank you for showing up here and supporting me on TurnLeftTV. 491 subscribers. I'm almost that 500 mark. So if you share some videos and get your friends, recruit some friends to come out and join me, and we might be hitting that 500 mark. And then you can also make a donation to TurnLeftTV by clicking on the link up in the banner of the channel and make a donation right through PayPal. If you're interested in some comics, please give ZiaComics.com a look. Your nerd headquarters, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter. ZiaComics.com, all things comics. Your nerd headquarters. Oh, hey, qualification session. Got to move that widget there a little bit, or move that graphic a little bit, I guess. There we go. Still got about a minute left here in qualifications. I think these guys effectively are finished with qualifications, so we'll get the results here very soon. I think we know what the results are. If we could just throw up the tower, of course. Ricardo Almeida is P1. Stephen Miller P2. Dan Richter joining us for the first time, so good to see Dan out. Jack G is 4th. Michael Brooks 5th. Paul Holt 6th. Gary Medu 7th. Richard Brooks 8th. Dennis Vandeven shown in 9th. Ricardo Almeida is our pole sitter here tonight, 17.012. Stephen Miller qualifies in the 2nd position. Dan Richter 3rd. Jack G qualifies 4th. Michael Brooks is 5th. Paul Holt qualifies in the 6th position. Gary Medu 7th. Richard Brooks qualifies in the 8th position. Dennis Vandeven 9th. And Imran Shaikh is in the 10th position. Good to see Imran out tonight. So it looks like we've got about 9 minutes here in the warm-up session, and we'll get this thing kicked off Again, thank you so much for joining us here on TurnLeftTV. Don't forget to head over to highoctaneracing.net and check out the content. So appreciate everybody being here. Work in progress for this website. You know, full disclosure, I'm not much of a web designer here, but work in progress. I'm learning as I go, but definitely want to give it a look. Take a look at the side-by-side view and make sure that that is working all right. So it does look like it's working well. Always need to double-check those things. Again, thank you for coming in. A little coffee coming your way, so pardon me. Keeps me awake and alert. All right, man. Well, hey, thanks for coming in, and got some addresses down there for you to take a look at TurnLeftTV on Facebook, TurnLeftTV1 on Facebook, TurnLeftTV on Twitter, and then my Discord addresses if you want to get a hold of me are right down there. You can also, if you want to follow over to the High Octane Racing League Discord address, it is right over there. And then if you'd like to follow that Fanatec website, or the link there, please go down to the description of this race and click on the Help Me Out link if you're interested in making a purchase. And excited for the race this evening. Again, thanks so much for joining us here on TurnLeftTV. Gary Medu joining us in the chat here. He's going to be out on the... Alexander Meshkoff's going to join us next week at Phoenix. All right, he says he's going to bring some friends, too. My gosh, man. Awesome. Gary Medu joining us from Canada. Break a leg health. That's a funny guy right there. Funny guy. All right, good luck to you guys, and good to see Alexander. Hopefully, looking forward to that, man. Coming out next week and joining us. It's going to be big. Gonna be big. Phoenix is a fun track. That's coming up next week, and that'll be a blast, man. That track is great for IndyCars. I know I raced over at NASCAR BR, IndyCar BR, and did a Phoenix race there. Thomas, who is adminning our league here tonight, Thomas Golom, we were in that race, and I'll tell you what, man, it was a lot of fun. We were leading the race there for a while, and I had a misstep on pit lane. But I'm excited about Phoenix next week. Should be a great one. Cliff Vanderven turning some donuts here in the, giving the fans something to look at there. Those Finns don't seem to be too interested. They all got their backs turned to him. So he's going to have to step up the game a little bit. And he's going to burn his tires off there. He's going to have to step up the game a little bit to get those fans interested. That one guy over there on the left side's got his head turned as well. So not a lot of interest there out of the fans on those donuts from Cliff Vanderven. He said, hey, bring it on the track, man. Impress me on the track. All right, we got a couple minutes left to go. This is TurnLeftTV. This is the High Octane Racing League IndyCar Series. Race number 2, 228 laps here from Iowa. I'm your host, the commentator, the broadcaster, Heath Johnson. And again, thank you for joining us here on TurnLeftTV. Take a look at the schedule. Now, Iowa's second race of the season. You see Phoenix coming up after that. Michigan, Gateway, Texas Auto Club Speedway, Pocono, Watkins Glen, and Indy. Points coming into tonight. Ricardo Almeida sits on top, 46 points. Ed Palumbo, 39 points in second. Paul Holt, third. Tony Reier, fourth. Stephen Miller, Dennis Vanderven. Jack G, Colin Madiak, Richard Brooks, and Paulo Chachalowski rounding out that top 10. So getting ready to kick this baby over here, so get ready. Hold on. High speed here tonight at Iowa. All right, 228 laps in the IndyCars here at Iowa, the cornfields of Iowa, for race number 2, headed your way. So hold on, boys and girls. It is going to get fun, going to get wild. How about we have a caution-free race like we did last night in the Bushwhacker Series?
Attention grid, will all non-essential personnel leave the grid now.
All right, here we go, boys and girls. Ricardo Almeida starting on the pole. Stephen Miller outside pole. P3, Dan Richter. Jack G starts in the 4th position. Michael Brooks starts in 5th. Paul Holt will start in the 6th position. Gary Medu starts in 7th. Richard Brooks starts in the 8th spot. Dennis Vanderven starts in the 9th position. Imran Shaikh starts in the 10th position. And Steve Pierce joining us, starting in the 11th spot. All right, well, we've got 228 laps headed your way here in the IndyCars. This is going to be a wild one, man. High speed IndyCars here, short track action. Excited for this one. Hopefully a good, clean race, caution-free race would be nice. So Ricardo Almeida on the bottom side here, inside pole in that 22 car. Stephen Miller up high there on the outside pole. Dan Richter joining us for the first time here in HORL as a standalone league. Raced with him a lot, but nonetheless, racing some Indy cars with us tonight. Here we go. We got one more lap, and I think we're going to get this baby going. So Ricardo Almeida is on the pole there in the 22 car. Last week's winner, starting in P1 here tonight. Pick your winner. I am going to pick. I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I'm going to say Dan Richter in P3. I think he's going to win this race here tonight. He loves these Indy cars. One of our American drivers. Ricardo down there on that inside there, saving some fuel close to that line. Getting all the shortening the distance around this track that he has to travel. So here we go, boys and girls. Getting after it in the Indy cars at Iowa.
Green flag, go, go.
All right, green, green, green. Ricardo Almeida off to a good start here, and tucking in Stephen Miller in second. We got a little bit of a battle for third. Jack G, Dan Richter side by side for the third position. And actually, Jack G and Stephen Miller. Oh, a little bit of contact there. Wheel-to-wheel contact between Jack G and Stephen Miller. This is for the second position. On board here with Jack G. He's got a little bit of a run here on the inside. He might have this spot down on that inside. Looking out the back of his car at Stephen Miller there, working that outside line. Dan Richter here in the yellow and white car, the 65 car. We got to worry about this. We got to figure out this camera spot here. We can't be behind tents and stuff on the cameras. Take a look at Paul Holt and Michael Brooks racing for position. Michael Brooks on that outside line. Paul Holt down on the inside here trying to push to get around Michael Brooks. Has to tuck in. He's in the 6th position. Look at Steve Pierce here joining us, running in the 9th position. Dennis Vandeven in 10th. Steve Pierce. Take a look at Steve Pierce here running in the 9th position. Just behind him, Imran running in 8th, or actually just ahead, running in the 8th position. Take a look at the pass here. Gary Medu getting by Paul Holt. Down on the inside line, Gary Medu in that Genesis sponsor machine. Paul Holt up on the outside line. Good battle there between the two of those guys. Tuck in there. It looks like Paul Holt gains that spot. Michael Brooks and Dan Richter racing for position. Michael Brooks down on the inside line. Dan Richter up high. Coming off the turn, looks like Michael Brooks has that position. Dan Richter now having a battle with Paul Holt. Paul Holt down on the inside line here, trying to get around Dan Richter. Good side-by-side racing between the two of those guys. Dan Richter in that yellow machine as Paul Holt gets by. Looking on board here at Paul Holt. Is that right? Oh my God, look at that, man. You get what? Hey! That's right. Paul Holt representing TurnLeftTV. Those guys are some of the first guys that did that, actually, too. Dennis, Cliff, and Paul all throwing the TurnLeftTV logos on. Wanting to get a little bit more airtime. Michael Brooks up on the outside line here, racing Stephen Miller. A little bit of lap traffic now these guys are dealing with. So Michael Brooks here moving up now in the third position. Stephen Miller has a battle on his hands, too, behind, as those tires might be starting to go away for Stephen Miller, as Paul Holt now closing in on Stephen Miller. We'll take a look at Paul Holt here in this blue machine. He's got a run here on Stephen Miller down on the bottom side, and it looks like Paul Holt's going to make that pass. Stephen Miller now falling back there to the fifth position. Paul Holt up to fourth. How about Gary Medu here in this Genesis sponsor machine? He's up on the outside line trying to get around Dan Richter. So Gary Medu has a heck of a run here and gets by. Dan Richter on the outside line takes over sixth. Imran Shaikh is in the coming off track. Oh, he makes a little contact with that inside line and almost slides into the wall, but hangs onto that thing. So right now, our leader is Ricardo Almeida, last week's winner. Jack G shown in the second position. Michael Brooks in third. Paul Holt, so a little bit of lap traffic those guys are dealing with now. .22 of Ricardo Almeida is the race leader. Jack G second. Michael Brooks third. Paul Holt is fourth. Stephen Miller in the fifth position. Paul Holt, Michael Brooks. Oh, a little bit of lap traffic right here, 3 wide. Is Paul Holt down on the inside line. So we got some battling going on here. Michael Brooks up on the outside line. Jack G in this mix as too. So a 3-way battle here. So we'll take a look at this battle here. This is Michael Brooks up on the outside line. These guys are 3 wide. How about that, man? Michael Brooks up on the outside line there, racing Jack G side by side, and Michael Brooks going to win that battle as he takes that spot. Jack G has to tuck in. Paul Holt back there as well. So Michael Brooks moving forward now in the second position. He is showing some muscle here tonight. Ricardo Almeida's got to be thinking about that as he starts to see that Michael Brooks machine move up the grid. Paul Holt in third. Jack G fourth. Stephen Miller in fifth. We'll take a look at Stephen Miller here running in that fifth position. Good looking paint scheme there from Stephen Miller. He's looking ahead at those guys. Jack G, Paul Holt trying to run these guys down. We've been caution free. Now this is the way we want it here at Indy or at Iowa in these Indy cars. And a lot of traffic these guys are dealing with right now. And this is a track where you really got to pay attention to the tires. And I think any track that you have to really pay attention to the tires, you see this 24 car running in the fifth position, is a track that really lends itself to some great racing. Gary Medu and Dan Richter re-energizing that battle. Oh, Gary Medu sliding up the track almost into the wall. As Dan Richter down low. Good battle here. This is for the sixth position. It looks like Dan Richter's going to win out there as he tucks in. Gary Medu gets behind and going to try his luck a little bit more here. He is up on this outside, and these guys doing a great job hanging out here and not getting into the wall. So Dan Richter moves up to the sixth position. Gary Medu falls back to seventh. .200 laps to go.
Yellow, yellow, yellow.
We got a yellow flag here. We got a yellow flag. Our first yellow flag here, 30 laps in. We're taking a look at Ricardo Almeida. So yellow flag here, number 1 at Iowa. Looks like maybe Dan Richter and Stephen Miller might have gotten together. Take a look here. This is Dan Richter down on the inside. He gets that spot on the Stephen Miller. Oh, man, runs into the back of Dan Richter. And then, oh, Gary Medu gets taken out in that as well. We'll take a look here as Dan Richter gets this spot and then coming back. And then a little bit of a contact there with the 24. Gets into the back of Dan Richter's machine, and those guys get into the wall, and then Gary Medu just trying to get through this, and then hard contact there for Gary Medu. My heavens, man. So hard contact right there. Gary Medu there trying to make it through and makes contact. My heavens, man. Man, that is a hard lick right there.
Pit road will be open this time for late lap cars.
Ricardo Almeida, the race leader, he's making a pit stop here. So all these guys coming down pit lane, making pit stops. 32 laps in. So Ricardo Almeida on pit lane. So Ricardo Almeida finishing up that pit stop. Paul Holt getting a penalty here, maybe a speeding penalty on pit lane. It looks like Dennis Vandeven making his pit stop here. He has a longest line penalty, I believe, so he's going to actually he got a wave around, so he's making his pit stop. So Ricardo Almeida comes out in P1. Michael Brooks second, Paul Holt third, Stephen Miller fourth, Gary Medu shown in the fifth position. Don't forget, next week we got Indianapolis Motor Speedway, 60 laps, race number 6 in the 2020 fall season.
It'll be one to go this time.
Should be a great race. The Bushwhacker Series last night was caution-free. Can we do it again next week? These guys are just fantastic. Not a better league in the business right there than the High Octane Racing League Friday Night Bushwhacker Series. Ricardo Almeida is in P1. Michael Brooks, P2. Paul Holt, P3. Gary Medu in P4. Jack G shown in P4. Jack G's P5. Gary Medu's P4. So 35 laps in. It was a pretty clean race here. We had that one accident, man. It really took a couple guys out. Stephen Miller there got in the back of Dan Richter and turned him around. Dan Richter made that pass, and Stephen Miller dove down to the inside and made contact here. So getting ready to go back green here for lap 36.
Go.
Ricardo Almeida, the race leader. Michael Brooks shown to be pretty fast here, looking on the outside line here early on this restart. These guys are getting tight here coming into the turn. The 22 car, Ricardo Almeida, holding off Michael Brooks. Michael Brooks trying to do that crossover move, going down low. Good battle here, side-by-side battle between Michael Brooks and Ricardo Almeida. Michael Brooks looks like he's going to take the race lead. So a new race leader here as Michael Brooks now to the front. Ricardo Almeida in that yellow machine, trying to maybe get this spot back, working that high line. Here at Iowa, laps clicking off in a hurry here. Good side-by-side battle here between the two of these guys. Michael Brooks here now giving up that spot here to Ricardo Almeida, who's back to the front. And Michael Brooks now back to second. Take a look at that pass there. Ricardo Almeida working this high line and getting around. Best time there, 17.298 is Ricardo Almeida's time. New best time here as he's working this high line. He's got this place figured out, man. Last week's winner here looking pretty solid in this race now. Back to the race front. Gary Medu and Jack G having a battle here. Gary Medu up on the high line, Jack G down on that bottom line. There's Gary Medu using his outside line to see if he can't get around Jack G. So this is for the third position. Gary Medu now in third. Dan Richter trying to make some moves here and having a battle with maybe Paul Holt. Dan Richter gets by. I think Paul Holt has some issues there. He might be might have fallen back. So Paul Holt now coming down pit lane here. He's going to serve a penalty, I believe. So Paul Holt serving a penalty as he's going to lose some positions. Now back to the 8th spot. What a tough break there for Paul Holt. Not sure what went on there. I think he got caught maybe speeding down pit lane and serving this penalty. What a tough break here at this short track at Iowa. Stephen Miller here running in the 7th position. Trying to be patient here and gain some of those spots back. He was running about second, third, and then got into a little scrape there with Gary Medu. So Stephen Miller here trying to climb back up the grid. Looking out of the front of his machine at Dennis Vandeven in that 6th place car. Now Stephen Miller here looking for a place to get around Dennis Vandeven. Tough order here, on the menu to try to get around Dennis Vandeven. He is a savvy race car driver. He's running in the 6th position. Jack G up there in 5th. We'll take a look at Jack G in that pink and black machine. Jack G in that Meyer Shank Racing machine, number 60 car. Right now running in the 5th position. And this is a pass here by Dan Richter running in the number 1 car, getting by Jack G to take over the 4th spot. Jack G back to 5th. Stephen Miller here now working on Dennis Vandeven. Good battle here between the two of those guys side by side. The 84 car trying to hold on to that spot. And he does, so Stephen Miller has to tuck back into that 29 machine.
Yellow, yellow, yellow.
We got a yellow flag, another yellow flag here. So Ricardo Almeida is the race leader, and I'm not sure what happened here. Looks like maybe some contact between Stephen Miller and Dennis Vandeven. Take a look here as 84 car up high and Stephen Miller down low, and then those guys almost get together right there. 84 car holds onto that spot. That's the 6th position. Stephen Miller back to 7th, and then Dennis Vandeven. So Stephen Miller diving down to the low side, and looks like he might have gotten into, oh man, the 84 car off the track into the stands. Go on board here with Stephen Miller as he's trying to make this pass here down on the inside. Cannot quite hold it down. Almost gets into that 84 car there. And then tries to tuck back in and then get another run here on Dennis Vandeven. And he's down on the inside. Closing back in, coming into the straight. Or excuse me, coming down into the turn. And then he looks like he drifts up and gets into the 84 car. 84 now out of the race, I believe.
Pit road will be open this time for left cars.
So it looks like Stephen Miller might have gotten up into Dennis Vandeven. Ricardo Almeida. Ricardo Almeida, our race leader. Michael Brooks, 2nd. Gary Medu, 3rd. Dan Richter is 4th. Jack G shown in the 5th position. Stephen Miller is 6th.
Pit road will be open this time.
Ricardo Almeida, the race leader, he's a pretty good battle here with Michael Brooks. So it looks like Stephen Miller there after that 2nd caution flag has going to have to retire his machine. The HORL rules, 2 caution rule, cause 2 cautions. You got to retire the machine. Looks like one lap to go before we get back to the green. So Ricardo Almeida in P1, Michael Brooks P2, Dan Richter now P3, Jack G P4, Gary Medu P5. So we're getting ready to go back green.
Green flag, go, go, go.
All right, back to green as Ricardo Almeida leads the field across the start-finish line. Start lap 56. 22 car has a battle here with Michael Brooks. Michael Brooks up on the outside line here. Very, very tight racing here. Michael Brooks and Ricardo Almeida side by side. This is for the race lead. Oh, a little bit of contact right there. A little bit of contact. Looked like Michael Brooks got a little squirrely and might have gotten into the side of the 22 car. My heavens, man. Looking out of the back of Ricardo Almeida's machine at Michael Brooks. He has solidified that first position. Michael Brooks back to second. Good battle here. Gary Medu in this Genesis sponsored machine getting by Jack G, taking over the fourth position. Jack G back to fifth. Now sets his sights on Dan Richter just ahead. Paul Holt up there as well. Now Paul Holt a little bit off the pace here, but definitely in this group of drivers, Paul Holt shown in the sixth position. He's definitely wanting to get that lap back. Get back on the lead lap. No lucky dogs here in the IndyCar series. So Ricardo Almeida, 22 car, looking to maybe bring it home for 2 wins in a row. Long race ahead here, so he has been pretty spot on as far as saving those tires. Take a look at Dan Richter here running in the third position. He loves IndyCars, man. I haven't seen him in a long time, and he just showed up tonight. Good to see him out, and I know how much he loves the IndyCars, so excited to see Dan Richter back, and right now running in the third position. Michael Brooks running in the second spot. Got Paul Holt just behind him, not for position. Looking out of the back of Michael Brooks' machine at Paul Holt. Paul Holt running in sixth. We got a lot of guys here out of the race. A couple of guys got DQ'd because they were running the wrong configuration. Running the road course configuration versus the short oval. So Paul Holt showing some speed here. He's definitely wanting to get back on that lead lap. Michael Brooks running in the second position. Dan Richter is third. Take a look at Gary Medu running in the fourth position. Gary getting back into racing. Now running in fourth right now. And again, with this car, these guys are talking about how hard this car is on tires with this setup. But I think, for the most part, if you just be patient getting into the turn, the car turns a lot better through the turn if you're just patient. Stay out of the throttle. Don't really keep that throttle mashed. You can keep it mashed, but then you're really going to burn that right front tire up. So guys that are figuring that out, if you just back up your corner, then you're going to be okay and get a lot better tire wear here. Jack G running in the fifth position. So we're having a pretty good night in that 60 car in the top 5. Ricardo Almeida, man, I'll tell you what, he has got this thing figured out. He's got a half a second lead over Michael Brooks. Dan Richter 2 seconds back in third. Gary Medu fourth. Jack G in the fifth position. Take a look at that side-by-side view as Michael Brooks has a little bit of battle there with Paul Holt. Now, Paul Holt is in the 6th spot. He kind of drops back there, but good side-by-side view there of our 2nd place car and our race leader in that top left. So Ricardo Almeida continuing to lead the field. Pretty solid effort out of him right now. Get an idea of where he's at as far as that first place, second place. So about 9/10, almost a second ahead of P2. So Ricardo Almeida continuing to be the class of the field. Last week, he had the car just set up. I mean, nobody could touch him. And looks like he has come prepared here tonight. Dan Richter in 3rd on his first race out. Gary Medu also his first race out, shown in P4. Michael Brooks having some trouble here, I think, as looks like he may have been trying to come down pit lane. I'm not sure. Oh, this car gets a little loose. Oh, man. It's a little bit loose. Does not bring out the caution flag. And he smacks the wall. He's missing the whole front cone on that wall, or on that car. Watch this, man. And coming down around, and he just gets this car loose. And if this thing turns on him, and he smacks the wall. My heavens, man. He is missing the front end of that machine. And we'll take a look at this again as he gets off the track just a little bit and then smacks that wall. That is hard contact. So parts and pieces flying everywhere for that car. Hopefully none of them on the track that anybody else is going to hit. So tough break there for Michael Brooks, and he's going to have to get some work done on that machine. Now Dan Richter is up to the 2nd position. Michael Brooks on pit lane, I believe, or if he's not, he should be. So it looks like he's gotten at least part of that car repaired. Guess he was on pit lane. We've got one camera, or a couple camera angles here. We're going to have to talk to Alex Cootie. I think Alex Cootie helped make this track. A couple camera angles here we've got to get fixed. They're sort of behind the banners. Right there. See, I don't know what that's behind. Oh, it's behind the fence. So we've got to at least lift that camera up, maybe. And then we got another one on the other side of the track that might be behind some fencing. Dan Richter running in the 2nd position. We'll see what happens there. Yeah, right there. Again, running behind the fence, I believe that's what that is. That railing in the stands. So we don't want it behind the railing in the stands. Is that the railing right there? I don't know. Good battle here. Jack G. And Gary Medu battling for position. Jack G getting around Gary Medu. Gary Medu now falling back to the 4th position as Jack G moves up to the 3rd spot. Paul Holt here starting to climb back now, so he's running in the 4th position. I think Gary Medu might have come down pit lane as Paul Holt picking up a spot here now in the 4th spot. Jack G indicating he's coming down pit lane, so now making a pit stop here as that 60 car. So here, green flag pit stops for Jack G. Ricardo Almeida is our race leader, and he seems to be, again, the class of the field. As we do that side-by-side view, you see Jack G finishing up that pit stop there. It doesn't take him too long. He's kind of getting a little squirrely there coming off pit lane. He's now in the 4th position. So once the pit stops cycle around, it's a little risky here having to pit early. Is if there is a caution flag, you get stuck behind the 8 ball. But now back out on the track in P4. Now Jack G looks like he's coming back down pit lane. Maybe he got caught speeding and having to do maybe a drive-through. Not sure. My heavens, that would be devastating. As we see him coming down, well, maybe that's his pit stop there. I don't think so. I think he might be doing a drive-through. So Ricardo Almeida, the race leader, and he has got almost a 4-second lead on the field. Paul Holt on pit lane, taking some service. So Paul Holt coming down pit lane in that 88 car as Ricardo Almeida still out on the track. Got a 4-second lead over Dan Richter. Paul Holt taking some service. He got back on that lead lap, and now being on pit lane here, going to fall down a couple laps. I think actually he might have been a lap down. So finishing up that pit stop, Paul Holt in the 88 car comes back out on track. Take a look at Michael Brooks here after taking some damage, running in the 5th position. He has got a sort of still missing the nose cone on that car, so we've got some, looks like we've got a wing that's just kind of floating there in the air on that machine. Gary Medu running in the 4th spot here, 95 laps in. Take a look at Dan Richter here running in the 2nd position, 5 seconds back. Now he's raced with, he raced a little bit with Sim Racing Mania. A lot of these guys are from Sim Racing Mania here running here. Those guys do a great job over at SRM. Richard Brooks, Dennis Vandeven, Paul Holt, Michael Brooks, all from Sim Racing Mania, and I think a couple other guys there too. Race over there as well. They got a big operation there. They race on Tuesday nights with the, I think they race Sundays with the Endurance Series, and then Tuesday nights right now the GT3 cars. And I'm working a little bit of a avenue there, maybe being able to do a race for those guys, broadcast a race for those guys. I've done a lot of races for Sim Racing Mania, so would be good to get back into it a little bit with those guys. But they love these Indy cars, and they all jumped in to help High Octane Racing League out, and it was a good time. And of course, Thomas Golom is adminning this league. He's a Sim Racing Mania admin as well, so no time conflict there. But bringing over some guys here to race, and these guys are my good friends too. I mean, Michael Brooks and Paul Holt, Dennis Vandeven. Cliff looks like he didn't make the race here tonight, but he was here earlier. Can't forget about Richard Brooks as well. All those guys, good friends of mine from Sim Racing Mania. I want to send a shout out to Dino Faldetta as well, running that whole operation there, and does some great Facebook pages, Facebook groups to let us share Sim Racing league information, and really appreciate his efforts there running Sim Racing Mania, and then rFactor 2 Central, League Central, and Sim Racing. Facebook pages. Right now, Ricardo Almeida is 5.5 seconds up on Dan Richter. Jack G running in the second position, or excuse me, the third position. He had to make a pit stop. Now he has that car back up to third, but he is 2 laps down. Gary Medu 2 laps down. Michael Brooks running in the fifth position is 3 laps down. Paul Holt, take a look at him, having a little bit of battle here with Gary Medu on the track, but not for position. Take a look at Gary Medu here. First race out, running in fourth. That Genesis sponsored machine looking out of the front of his car. These guys are talking about how bumpy this track was. We're going to go on board here with Gary Medu as he does 1 lap. Again, a little bumpy here through the turns, and that's the way Iowa is, man. It is bumpy. He had to get out of the gas here to keep that car from coming around. Again, down on that inside, a little bit bumpy here. You hear him feathering that throttle, and he is working that wheel. My heavens, man. Those bumps kind of throw off the balance of the car. You got to be very, very careful as you're working your way through the turns. And he's on older tires as well. One guy I do not see a lot of smoke coming out from those tires, and that is Ricardo Almeida. He seems to have this place down. Whatever adjustments he needed to make, he's made them, and he does not seem to be as hurt by those long runs. He's extending that lead 6.5 seconds now over Dan Richter. And that's the difference between what he's doing and what some of these other guys are doing. And so these other guys are burning those tires up as they get through the turns. Looks like a pretty good turn there for Dan Richter. See Paul Holt really pushing that car hard here, and we'll take a look, and you're going to see a little bit of white smoke here, I think, through the turns. Puffing a little bit of white smoke as he is really putting a lot of pressure there, a lot of pressure on that right front tire. He's trying to find a way to get around Dan Richter now. Not really much can be gained. Man, that's a lot of blue right there, isn't it? That is blue. I mean, if you want to know what blue is, you look right there. That is blue. He's not a lot to be gained here from getting by Dan Richter because this is not position. He's running in the 6th spot right now. Dan Richter in second, just ahead of him. The long green flag run here. Good looking run as we have 113 laps under the belt. Just approaching halfway. Take a look at the halfway mark. Ricardo Almeida, the race leader. Dan Richter sits in the second position. Jack G in third. Gary Medu fourth. Michael Brooks fifth. Paul Holt is sixth. We have Stephen Miller, Dennis Vandeven, Richard Brooks, and Steve Pierce out of the race. Also Imran out of the race as well. Those guys, both those guys, those 2 DQs came in with the incorrect configurations in the race. Showed up pretty late here. Not enough time, I don't think, to correct that. But those are the mid-race results. So we are now 117 laps in, clicking off these laps in a hurry under green. We've had a couple caution flags, 2 or 3 caution flags, and now 6 guys, looks like, still left in the race. As Ricardo Almeida looking to try to pick up win number 2. That Menards sponsored number 22 car. This has been a blast here, man. I love these Indy cars. A lot of fun here with these machines. Things happen in a hurry. There is no doubt about that. Ricardo Almeida seems to show up these first 2 races. He's just prepared. Whatever he's doing during practice, he is making the right moves, and he has been the class of the field. So somebody's going to have to get something figured out if they're going to be able to compete with Ricardo Almeida this season. Coming up in a little while, I'll be racing at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Not going to broadcast this one. I want to get in the driver's seat and do a few laps. If you'd like to join in the Saturday Night Thunder in the stock cars, you're more than welcome to do so. Practice starts at 8 p.m., qualifications 9, race at 9:15, 125 laps from New Hampshire, and I'll be in this race tonight. If you're interested, you can look us up on the High Octane Racing League Discord server, and we'd be more than happy to have you out. A lot of fun here with these guys, and excited to get in the driver's seat and do a little competing here tonight. Take a look at Gary Medu running in the 3rd position in his first race out for High Octane Racing League. Got back in touch with me a few days ago, I'd say about a week ago, and sent him the information, and here he is, man. Gary Medu, what a character that guy is, huh? Oh, man, he almost got into the wall. That Genesis sponsor machine, very, very close. He might have even shaved the wall there with those tires that time by. So he is hanging on for dear life. Here, 125 laps in. Trying to figure out when he needs to make his pit stop. He is really burning those tires up too. Oh, man, he might have scraped the wall there on that one. A little white paint there on those tires. Come on board here with him, and let's see how much he's turning that wheel to the left there to keep that car from getting up into the wall. He is really, really pushing that car out pretty far, and he is cranking that wheel. Got to get out of that throttle there, and then again, way up the track, almost into the wall. He is really hugging that outside up there in the marbles, running in the 3rd position. We'll take a look at Dan Richter here running in the 2nd position as now Ricardo Almeida running up on some lap traffic, and that is Gary Medu. So that might have been a little bit why Gary Medu was pushing that car so hard not to want to follow a lap down, as Ricardo Almeida now puts him another lap down. Gary Medu now showing 3 laps down. Dan Richter in 2nd on the lead lap. 100 laps to go. And so we'll take a look at Dan Richter running in the 2nd position in that number 1 car. He is 10.5 seconds down to the race leader. How about that, man? First race out, and here you are running in the 2nd position on the lead lap with this race leader who has already got a win under his belt. That just speaks to how talented Dan Richter is at being able to jump in just about anything and make that car competitive. So good run for him. Seen him win a lot of races in the stock cars. And he raced over, did some racing there at Sim Racing Mania in the Indy cars. I think he just really, really likes these Indy cars. Now I had a feeling it'd just be a matter of time before we saw him out. So 132 laps in, and we're starting to get some, I think somebody coming down pit lane. That might be Paul Holt making a pit stop, and it is Paul Holt coming down pit lane here on lap 132. Take a look at that side-by-side view as Paul Holt now enters his pit box. Ricardo Almeida continuing to pace the field. He's extending that lead over Dan Richter. I think the lap's somewhere around 18 seconds or so at this track. So Dan Richter 11 seconds down as Paul Holt finishes up his pit stop. See if we can't get that lap time there. 18.479 was Ricardo Almeida's last lap time. He's about half a second ahead of Dan Richter. So Dan Richter 11.8 seconds back. So about 18.5-second laps right now. So he's got a little bit of gap there, but wants to try to maintain that. And, you know, I would expect to be seeing green flag pit stops out of these guys here pretty soon, as Ricardo Almeida just picking them up and putting them down right now. Take a look at Michael Brooks here battling back after getting into a little bit of a scrape there and a lot of damage on his machine, but nonetheless running in the third position. Jack G jumping back here to the fifth position in that 60 car. 3 laps down right now in fifth. You're 140 laps in. Now Ricardo Almeida, our race leader, he might be coming down pit lane. It does look like he is. Had that a little bit off there, but Ricardo Almeida, our race leader, the 22 car, making a pit stop, and that's going to give the race lead to Dan Richter. So our race leader, Ricardo Almeida, on pit lane. As Dan Richter, the new race leader. So Ricardo there making a pass. Finishing up his pit stop there, coming back out on track. Now in second. Dan Richter, the race leader. He's going to have to make a pit stop here, I think, very, very soon, judging from when Ricardo came down pit lane. Hey, coming up on October the 2nd, we'll be back in action at Indianapolis Motor Speedway with the Bushwhackers Series. 60 laps at Indy. Race number 6 in the 2020 fall season. That should be a great one, man. Love Indy. And those Bushwhackers Series cars, that Xfinity mod, a lot of great racing that's been going on there at High Octane Racing League on a Friday night. We've had a number of races that have been caution-free. Last night's race at New Hampshire was caution-free, and what a great, great race. A lot of side-by-side racing, a lot of passing going on, but a clean race. Caution-free, and we've had 3 or 4 races that have only been 1 caution flag. I think we had a Martinsville race that was caution-free. I mean, if you think about caution-free at Martinsville, that's really doing something. But those guys are doing a great job on Friday nights in the Bushwhacker Series. Had 17 drivers last night, and a lot of fun to broadcast those races. A lot of great racing and camaraderie that's happening on a Friday night. Michael Brooks coming down pit lane in that 55 car. Here on lap 148, taking some service here. As Dan Richter continuing to pace the field. 80 laps to go. Ricardo Almeida shown in the second position. Gary Medu in third. Paul Holt now moving up the grid with Michael Brooks on pit lane. Dan Richter indicating he's going to be coming down pit lane. Hearing on the radio that Dan Richter is going to be making a pit stop. Take a look at that side-by-side view as Michael Brooks has finished up his pit stop back out on the track, and you see Paul Holt going by. Dan Richter making a pit stop here on lap 150. So the question is, how fast can he get on and off pit lane? He's wanting to try to close that gap on Ricardo Almeida, who's shown in second, but will undoubtedly go back to the race lead here as Dan Richter on pit lane. Dan Richter in his pit box, finishing up his pit stop as Ricardo Almeida goes by and reclaims the lead. So Dan Richter now back off pit lane in P2. So just two guys here right now on the lead lap. Ricardo Almeida now trying to maybe get by Dan Richter and put him a lap down. So a little battle here as Ricardo Almeida, that Menard sponsor number 22, Dan Richter down on the bottom side in that number 1 car. He gets out of the gas there. Oh, and he lets Ricardo go by. He really got out of the gas and gave him a lot of room. Almost slid up the track, but Ricardo Almeida takes that spot here. We'll take a look at this pass. So Ricardo Almeida, this is him claiming the race lead, but a little bit later he's going to end up lapping. So we'll go on board here with Ricardo Almeida and just watch this sequence as he comes off turn 4, coming down the front stretch. Dan Richter has finished up that pit stop, now coming around on that bottom side as Ricardo Almeida. You see Dan Richter down low as Ricardo Almeida has a head of steam down the backstretch into turn 3, and there's Dan Richter right there, and he's going to try to put him a lap down. He goes up high, and then Dan Richter has to get out of the throttle here coming into the turn to keep from drifting up as he's trying to hold on to that spot, and he drifts up. He has to get out of the throttle to keep from drifting up. Side by side. And right there, as you can see, noticeably gets out of the throttle as Ricardo Almeida gets by. Got a spin here as Jack G coming off pit lane down on that flat part of this track, and he spins this car around. Jack G spins this car around, no caution flag as he's backwards on the track, but no caution flag coming out for Jack G. He spins that car back around. No yellow flag, my heavens, man. So he just gets in the gas here a little bit too early, I think. And yeah, he spins this car and backwards as he's trying to get this thing straightened back up, and the guys are going by, but no caution flag as Jack G now, that 60 car has that car straightened back up and pointed in the right direction. And he's now boogered up those tires. Probably the exact reason he wanted to come in is get those tires changed, and now has some probably some flat spotted tires. 160 laps in as Ricardo Almeida continuing to lead, and he really has shown a lot of strength here, and I don't know, man, does anybody have an answer for Ricardo Almeida right now? And my answer is I don't think so. Certainly not this race, and last race it was pretty solid Ricardo Almeida as well, number 22 car. The class of the field, that Menard sponsor machine. Paul Holt here picking up a spot as he's getting by Gary Medu. Gary Medu, I think, might be coming down pit lane. He's letting these guys go by as Ricardo Almeida gets by. And Gary Medu indicating he might be coming down pit lane. He is down pretty low on the track there, so and he comes down onto the flat part of the track. So Gary Medu making a pit stop here. Just had a feeling that was going on as he comes around, and oh man, he almost misses pit lane. Almost got into the barrels there. As now taking service, Gary Medu. 165 laps in. Ricardo Almeida, Dan Richter, Paul Holt, Michael Brooks, Gary Medu, the top 5. Take a look at Michael Brooks here running in the 4th position. He had a lot of damage there on that hard hit in the wall, and now has a little bit of a boogered up race car. He is 3 laps down, running in the 4th position. Paul Holt running in the 3rd position. He sort of bounced back there from an earlier incident. And that incident was speeding on pit lane, and he had to do a drive-through. So that cost him pretty significantly. And now back to the third spot here. Just keeps plugging away, and he might get a pretty good finish here. Dan Richter shown in the second position, now 1 lap down. Laps clicking off in a hurry here. You're looking at somewhere around 18 seconds, 17, 18-second laps. We'll take a look at the schedule here and the High Octane Racing League IndyCar Series. You see Gary Medu on fresh tires there, closing in on Dan Richter. Taking a look at the schedule here, we got Iowa tonight. Next week, Phoenix. Another similar track, really, driving style-wise. I think it's a little bit easier at the Phoenix track, but Michigan after that. Gateway, that's a question mark in my opinion, that famous track there in the Midwest. Texas Motor Speedway coming up on October 24th. Auto Club, that's California. Then you got Pocono, Watkins Glen, the only road course on the schedule, and then Indianapolis Motor Speedway to finish out the season. Right now, Ricardo Almeida picking them up, putting them down, man. Just putting them laps down solid. Not really seeing any hiccups out of Ricardo Almeida, and he's closing in on Paul Holt right now. Paul Holt shown 3 laps down, wants to try to stay in that spot. Actually 2 laps down, wants to stay in that spot and not lose another lap. Maybe fall under the clutches of Michael Brooks, who's 3 laps down. Gary Medu also, Gary Medu shown 5 laps down. So you see Paul Holt there drifting up the track, maybe made a little contact with the wall. Just ahead, Jack G and Michael Brooks as well. A little bit of traffic right now for Ricardo Almeida. This is a little danger time, and you see what he did. Very smart move right there. He let Gary Medu, who's on fresher tires, he let him go. He said no sense in racing a guy when it's not for position, and he let that car go. He pulled over to the right and let Gary Medu pass. He was pulling up on some lap traffic. Paul Holt just ahead. Gary Medu faster, gets around Paul Holt as Ricardo Almeida showing what kind of savvy racer he is. A lot of intelligence in that move right there. No sense in ruining your stuff here, getting caught up in an accident, racing somebody who is not on the lead lap and really not a threat to win the race. So that just shows you the savvy driving of the 22 car there, Ricardo Almeida. See some of these guys really pushing that car pretty hard here, burning up that right front tire. And you don't see that out of this 22 car. No smoke coming out from that car. He is having a good solid night. You see Paul Holt down on the inside line. Paul Holt might be thinking about coming down pit lane again. I'm not sure, but he is down on that inside right now. As Dan Richter goes by. And, where I'm seeing that smoke is really from this 29 car here of Gary Medu is really pushing that right side pretty hard, and that's causing the tires to kind of wear out on that right side, and you see that smoke lurching out from that car right there about 2/3 of the way through the turn. He might have made a little contact with the wall there, and that time by looking out of the back of his car at our race leader. Ricardo Almeida. You can see that white smoke there hitting Ricardo in the face. So Gary wanting to try to maintain his position and not fall back any further. But that's going to cost him in the long run, I believe. As Ricardo Almeida here closing in and wants to get around him without too much trouble. And he's not the only one boogering up those tires, that's for sure. Ricardo patient. He's waiting for an opening here as he sees that car wanting to slide up the track. Michael Brooks here in that, was that 55 car, running in the third position. So nobody on the same lap. We got Almeida on the lead lap, Dan Richter 1 lap down, Michael Brooks 3 laps down, Medu's 4, Paul Holtz 5, and Jack G shown 6 laps down. Starting to wind down these laps here, 188 laps in. As now Ricardo Almeida has caught Gary Medu with 40 laps to go. Paul Holt here fast. He's up behind Ricardo Almeida. Not for position. Paul Holt 5 laps down. Wanting to get around Ricardo, and he does. Ricardo lets him go, and now those guys setting sail on each other. Ricardo really got out of the throttle and let Paul Holt go by. And now Paul Holt, after making pit stop here, trying to get back and use those fresh tires to make some moves. See, he's down on this inside here, wanting to get around Gary Medu. So good side-by-side battle here. Being Paul Holt and Gary Medu. Paul Holt makes that pass as Gary Medu falls back there to 5th. But Paul Holt, that was for position. And we'll take a look at that pass again as Paul Holt down on the inside line on fresher tires. As Gary Medu up on the outside line, and Paul Holt makes that pass. Now Paul Holt getting by Jack G. He's running in the 6th position. Jack G in that 60 car. See Ricardo Almeida getting by. This guy's having a pretty clean race here as Jack G, I think he's coming off the track to come down pit lane. For the most part, these guys got it figured out. Long green flag runs. Man, that's awful fast here to get that car down to pit road speed. That 60 car making a pit stop. Look at that side-by-side battle here. Side-by-side view is Jack G making that pit stop, finishing up his pit stop, coming back out on track. Now remember, he spun that car as he was getting on the throttle, coming around on the apron before, and got that car straightened back up. Now back on track. And to add insult to injury, I think he might have even had a drive-through that he had to serve, so that's kind of put him behind the 8 ball. And once these guys got it figured out, we've got these long green flag runs. This is what we wanted here from the start. We had a pretty good run there at the beginning, but then we had a couple caution flags on top of one another. And then Ricardo Almeida is in a hornet's nest right now. Dan Richter trying to get that lap back down on the inside. He wants to get that lap back, get back on the lead lap, and he has to get out of the throttle there, kind of boxed in with Michael Brooks as Ricardo Almeida gets by on the high side. Looking out of the back of his machine at Michael Brooks and Dan Richter. Michael Brooks running in 3rd, Dan Richter in 2nd. Dan Richter moving up to the high side. Working that high line here and getting by Michael Brooks. Paul Holt in 4th. Gary Medu 5th. Jack G is 6th. 27 laps to go. Right now, I think it's pretty safe to assume that Ricardo Almeida is going to be able to make it to the end without having to make another pit stop. Dan Richter pitted a little bit earlier. I'm not sure how many laps earlier, but we'll see if he's got enough fuel to make it to the end. Look who's joining us. Look who's joining us in the chat here. Wait a minute here. Hold on. Let me throw up the chat session. Who in the world is that guy right there? Who's that guy? Who's this guy right here? My heavens, man. Good to see Ed joining us in the chat. Hopefully he's ready to go here for the stock car race tonight. Excited to see him out, and we'll be swapping some paint. If you'd like to join us, you're more than welcome to. But excited to see that 54 car out on the track this evening. As Ricardo Almeida laying the smackdown right now on the field. Race number 2. This guy is on track to get 2 wins in a row and take a pretty commanding lead in the points standings. Dan Richter, first race out, shown in the 2nd position. Michael Brooks is 3rd. Paul Holt shown in the 4th position, and Gary Medu in that top 5. Looking out of the front of Ricardo's machine, you see Jack G there pretty hard on that tire. I think that's Jack G there just ahead. He's really pushing that tire, running behind Paul Holt. Nonetheless, we've had a long series of green flag laps here. These guys got it figured out. We've had a little bit of a messy start there in that first maybe 50 laps or so. But once these guys got it figured out, we've been green. Long green flag runs. That's a good sign. Take a look at Dan Richter running in the 2nd position, 1 lap down. Oh, man, that was tight right there with Gary Medu. Almost got into Gary Medu, not 4th position. But, man, he slid up the track there. Those guys almost got together. But Dan Richter makes that pass. Starting to wind down the laps here as the 22 car commanding lead. And he would definitely not want to get into any scrapes now. No hurry is Ricardo Almeida in the 22. Barring any disaster, any catastrophe, he is going to pick up win number 2. And I'll tell you, you can really tell a difference in the 22 and the rest of these guys here because he is really not burning up those tires. He's backing up that turn, staying out of the throttle just enough to let that car set up. You see, where those other guys are really pushing that. You actually see he's getting out of the throttle. You can hear he's getting out of the throttle about halfway through the turn even. Just keeping that car in the groove and not burning up those tires. The rest of these guys are really just cranking that, staying on the throttle there a little bit too long. You see just ahead, Jack G burning up that tire. And that's the trick. I mean, that's the difference in the race, in my opinion, is just consistent, solid laps here. .216 under the belt. 2:28 is the race distance we're going. We got long green flag laps here. Just what we wanted. Don't forget, coming up on Friday, October the 2nd, we have race number 6 at Indianapolis Motor Speedway in the Bushwhacker Series. 60-lap race. Should be a great one, man. That points battle is tight, man. I think we've had 5 races, 5 different winners. Wait a minute. Lucas Sinfer might have gotten 2 wins, so he won last night. Have to let the cat out of the bag. We had a caution-free race last night at New Hampshire, so excited about that next week coming up. And you don't want to miss it. You want to join in the High Octane Racing League Xfinity Series, the Bushwhacker Series on Friday nights. There's the Discord address. You can check it out. Right now it is all Ricardo Almeida. Dan Richter 2nd, Michael Brooks 3rd, Paul Holt 4th, Gary Medu is 5th. Jack G on pit lane. We'll take a look at him as he's making that pit stop here with just a few laps to go. That 60 car. So we saw him really putting a lot of pressure on that those right side tires, and now having to make a pit stop here with just a few laps to go. Not what you want to see. .22 car clear, track ahead. Just gonna make consistent laps, stay out of the wall. Hopefully no. Oh no! Somebody might have gotten into the wall there coming off pit lane. Jack G might have gotten into the wall, but no caution flag, and he had some trouble earlier on. We'll take a look here as he spins this car. This time he makes contact with the wall. And gets that thing straightened up, and now he's missing that front wing. No caution flag, and that's good news for Ricardo Almeida. 225 laps in. He's our race leader. 3 laps to go as Paul Holt going down to the coming up to the high side. This is a battle for position. Late race pass here. Paul Holt now getting by Michael Brooks, taking over the 3rd position. Michael Brooks back to 4th. So we've got 2 laps to go. Ricardo Almeida. Dan Richter now, Paul Holt in 3rd, Michael Brooks 4th, Gary Medu is 5th. Cross the start finish line, we have 1 lap to go. Coming around turn 3 or turn 2, down on the backstretch. Laps clicking off in a hurry here, about 18 seconds now under these old tires, and Ricardo Almeida coming around the final turn. The 22 car is going to take the race win here at Iowa. 2nd win in a row for the 22. How about that, huh? So Ricardo Almeida. Big race win here in the 22 car. So another race win for that 22 team, that Menards sponsor machine. So a little bit of a burnout here for the 22. Does he have enough in the tank here to do a burnout? He's going to drive through the grass a little bit, I guess. So the 22, Ricardo Almeida getting a huge win here, race number 2. How about that, huh? That's awesome. What a great battle there, or what a great race for him. We'll take a look at the final standings here. Ricardo Almeida, 2 wins in a row. Dan Richter in that first race out finishes in the 2nd position. Paul Holt is 3rd. Michael Brooks finishes in the 4th position. Good battle there on that last couple laps there. Paul Holt was able to claim that 3rd position. Gary Medu finishes in the top 5. Jack G is 6th. Stephen Miller 7th. Dennis Van de Ven 8th. Richard Brooks 9th. And Steve Pierce finishes in the 10th position. So Ricardo Almeida finishes in P1. All right, we'll see if we can't get Ricardo Almeida up here in the booth with us for an interview for that 2nd race, 2nd win of the season. All right, Ricardo Almeida, the 2nd win in a row. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. It was hard.
Yeah, it seemed to me that you really had something figured out, because a lot of these guys were burning up the tires, the right side tires, and you did not seem to be showing any smoke on those tires. So talk about how you were able to attack these turns.
Well, the thing is, when I practice, I see that the right front is melting like crazy, and I try to find a setup for it to fix it. I finally find one, but after 10 laps, it's the back end who wants to go past in front, so that was not good. So I practice, and I find a way. It's like it's managing the gas on corners, lift, coast, and that works well. The only thing is, I don't want to battle too much, because if you battle, you're gonna burn all the tires and you're done. And with Michael, and at one point, it was side by side. It's burning the tires. Oh no. So I was thinking, do I let him go to manage the tires? I said, okay, let's try to keep him behind me, and that works well. After that, when I was in front, I manage. I don't try to push it, just enough. It doesn't matter to lead by 5 laps or by 1 second. It just leading, it was enough.
Yeah, I really noticed that too. When you realized if guys that may have come out of the pits that were several laps down were faster, you just let them go. You pulled over to the right and let them have the low side. And I was saying that really is a good sense there. That's a lot of race intelligence that you were showing, knowing that there was no reason you'd benefited by nothing, no way by racing those guys. That was something you just reflected there with that in your interview. But you got 2 wins in a row here now, and been the class of the field. It's just tell us what are you thinking about these Indy cars and going forward here in this series?
I really love Indy cars. Like every time there's an IndyCar mod goes out, I'm really hoping someone's putting some races on it. I'm still dreaming about my 3 short ovals, 3 speedways, 3 road course, and 3 street course. A championship like that. I'm hoping for that. I don't know if someone's gonna do it at one time, but I feel this is like a complete package to see a good driver is fast on, you know, all kinds of tracks. So
well next week is Phoenix, and it really is a very similar track to what you have here. Obviously we got some key differences, but I think probably even a little bit better handling machine at Phoenix. How do you feel about that track coming in next week?
I was very lucky at Phoenix. I got good results at Phoenix, so I'm really looking for that Phoenix race, hoping the same results as today.
Well, congratulations on a big race win and taking a commanding lead here in the championship, and I want to say good luck to you next week and the rest of the season.
Thank you very much, Heath.
Okay, that's Ricardo Almeida joining us up here again. What a great interview, huh? Very excited, and you know, it really talks you know, about the specifics of the way that car was handling and how he was feeling in the race and so forth. And man, I'll tell you what, he's the class of the field right now. Somebody's going to have to figure something out to be able to make a run here and give Ricardo a competition here or a run for the championship. Make this guy earn it. But this guy is really coming out ready to race and seems to have something figured out that the rest of these guys right now are looking for. Well, we've got another race headed your way. I'm not going to be doing this live here, but I'm going to jump in the driver's seat and run a few laps here tonight in the Saturday Night Thunder, and you're more than welcome to join us here. The Discord address is, those of you who are maybe on our channel and listening, you can join the Saturday Night Thunder, the Stock Car 2018 mod here tonight, 125 laps at New Hampshire. Racing starts at 9 p.m. or qualification starts at 9 p.m., so we'd love to have you. And I'm going to jump in and run some laps here. I competed last week in this mod and had a lot of fun with these guys. So excited to jump back in again this week and give it a go. And I'm going to take a little break there and get back at it. So that's race number 5 in the 2020 fall season. And then next Friday we'll be back at it for race 6 in Indianapolis Motor Speedway in the High Octane Racing League Bushwhackers Series, a great Friday night series. Headed your way on October the 2nd. What a great series this has been, man. We've had big fields and caution-free races and just some fantastic racing. Don't want to miss it. Headed your way coming up on October the 2nd, and that'll be live right here on TurnLeftTV. I want to thank you so much for coming out to the YouTube channel and checking me out and checking the race out and supporting TurnLeftTV. Please hit the subscribe button if you haven't already done so. Make sure that you hit the thumbs up button and let me know you were here. Share my videos with all your friends on any social media platform that you can share YouTube videos. You're more than welcome to share my videos with your folks. But hey, thank you so much for coming in. Don't forget to support ZiaComics.com, your nerd headquarters. Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter. Anything comic related, these guys have it, man. So give these guys a look and let them know that TurnLeftTV sent you. Well, congratulations to Ricardo Almeida on a big race win here tonight. 2 wins in a row in the IndyCar series. This guy's got something figured out. I don't know what it is, man, but this guy's somewhere in another universe right now compared to some of these other drivers. Well, that's going to do it for the broadcast here tonight. Thanks so much for joining us on TurnLeftTV. I'm your host, Heath Johnson, and I'm going to go drive a little bit here in the Saturday Night Thunder. Congratulations, Ricardo. I'm out of here.